Small businesses know their business. They know how to sell clothes, fill cavities, or build chairs. But too often they don't know how to run a business. So when it comes time to grow their company, they don't have the access or expertise. Big businesses are different. They hire consultants for big money or have internal staff experts to interpret data for where they stand in the marketplace and how to grow. Small businesses can't afford to do this. SizeUp addresses this problem by giving small and medium-sized businesses access to high-quality business intelligence in much the same way, but without the pricey consultants. I'll show you how SizeUp does this. Let's say that you own a shoe store in Santa Clara, California. It's a little bit of information you can provide to see how your business sizes up against your competitors. Let's enter in your revenue, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've just super crunched millions of data points to compare your shoe store to other shoe stores, and you can see that your business makes less than the typical shoe store in your city, county, metro, state, or the nation. Down below, you can see a heat map. In red are the areas that have the highest average business annual revenue, and in yellow are areas that there's less. Santa Clara is in the center, and you can see that there are neighborhoods around Santa Clara that have higher revenue. These may be places that you want to target your next advertising campaign or open up a future store. On the right, we've added considerations and resources to help your business. Now let's enter in some additional information, such as the year you started. Let's say it was in 1999. We've just plotted the opening of shoe stores across the entire country. Maybe you're not interested in national or state data, but you can see at a local level that there's a trend where more shoe stores are opening. Now how about salary? Let's say you pay your typical employee $25,000. Is that more or less than the typical shoe store? Well, in this case, it's more. The typical shoe store in your county pays about $19,000 a year. And the map shows this information, and the highest salaries are in places like Marin and San Francisco. Now let's enter in the number of employees you have. Let's say it's 7. And that's pretty typical for most shoe stores. As you enter in information, we're able to provide you additional data without you entering anything. In this case, we're showing cost effectiveness, which is a measure of how much output you get relative to how much you're spending. Or here, revenue per capita. Right now we're looking at revenue per capita at the local level, at the neighborhood level. Now we're zooming out to see the region, the state, and even the nation. Here we're showing local turnover for shoe stores. So you have to estimate that about 14% of your employees you're going to have to retrain due to losses. Now let's enter in healthcare. Let's assume you spend $4,500 per employee on healthcare. We can tell you that you pay $191 more for healthcare than typical businesses of your size and in similar industries. Or we can put in workers' compensation rates. By just entering this information, we can see a summary dashboard of how your business sizes up to other shoe stores. Using the gauges, you can see red tends to be less good, whereas green tends to be better. So with just a few clicks, you can get information sizing up your business. Another thing a successful business would want to know is where are their potential competitors, customers, and suppliers. So let's say you're thinking about opening up a beauty salon in Beverly Hills. Where are your competitors? You also know that you're selling, so let's say that your target customer is models. And so you're going to focus on the talent agencies so that they can send their models over to your beauty salon before they go on their interviews. And also you're going to buy from beauty supplies. In an ideal world, what you want is an area where there is a lot of customers, but not so much competition. In orange, you can see areas where there are strong corridors of competition. And visually on the map, you can also see in green where there are customers with less competition. So this might be a good location to open up your beauty salon. The other thing a serious business would want to know is where they can market their products or services. So let's say that you are a dentist in New York City. Where should you advertise? With just that information, we can show you the areas where it's the highest total revenue for dental offices, which is just south of Central Park. But maybe you're looking for a different opportunity and you want to find the areas that are the most underserved. Now it's locations such as the Bronx and Springfield Gardens. Let's say you're targeting lower income households. So it's still places like the Bronx, but also locations like Newark, New Jersey. So those are key features of SizeUp, where you can benchmark all the businesses in your area, you can identify where competition, customers, and suppliers are, and the best places to advertise. According to the president of the Society of Competitive Intelligence Professionals, there's more and more research that a lack of adequate competitive intelligence is holding companies back. At successful companies, competitive intelligence is part of the day-to-day operation, part of the fabric of the enterprise. Competitive intelligence is often thought to be a big boys game in which only Fortune 500 companies play. But a recent business article points out that competitive intelligence may be more important to small companies than to large ones because small businesses feel the impact of competition more immediately and more deeply. SizeUp is tailored to how small businesses will use business intelligence solutions. A recent study by Intuit found that small business managers will need to learn how to effectively use analytical software tools, and small business management will become less about gut instincts and more about analysis. In a study of how companies consume business intelligence solutions, the Aberdeen Group found that SMBs have turned the traditional upfront license and on-premise business intelligence access of large enterprise on its head. SMBs are almost 3 times more likely to pursue an open source strategy than large companies, and are also more than twice as likely to use web-based software as a service solutions for business intelligence. SizeUp delivers on this SMB demand by delivering an open access software as a service. According to Burrell Associates, SMBs spent over 22% of their budget for interactive support on database information retrieval services, a common source of business intelligence. This is far higher than the less than 9% spent by the average business. In total, SMBs are spending $808 million annually, and by 2013, Burrell estimates a dramatic rise in spending on database information retrieval services, as SMBs must rely on outside sources for their business intelligence, market research, and logistics needs. Larger companies can handle some of this internally and rely on their own numbers or listings. But for the smaller businesses that need outside help, SizeUp will offer a low-cost alternative to the expensive database information retrieval services that are so in demand. Small and medium-sized businesses are already at a competitive disadvantage because they don't have access to the same quality of business intelligence and competitor analysis that big businesses have. But the success of our economy is determined by the success of the small business owner and entrepreneur. SizeUp is positioned to give these business owners what they need to succeed. SizeUp is leading a movement to level the business information playing field, reduce small business failure, and help entrepreneurs grow their companies.